So when do we make requests? We give our call to action when we give 2 to 4 times what we're asking for. 2 to 4 times. Okay, so we've got strangers, first time attenders, Bible studies. So we want to think about what are we giving, especially to volunteers, because they do a lot. And I think a lot of times there's sort of a money versus value here. Well, if we're asking them to tithe, what could I possibly give them worth more than 10% of their income? A whole bunch of stuff. And this is, I told you we'd get here. A whole bunch of stuff. Pastor Andrew and I were having a conversation, and he said, what can I give to my leaders, my volunteers, that is worth more than the effort they are putting in? Because they are putting in a lot of effort. And I'll give you an example for me. Right? I grew up in a pretty toxic home environment, and unfortunately I'm not terribly close to my family. I'm not in my hometown. That's 6,000 miles away. This church is my family. Metro, it's not even a church family. It has to be my family. And, excuse me, if I show up to a group of leaders and those leaders are my family, I will do whatever you want. Fair? And that's the same with every person, every leader you have contact with. What can you give them? You can give them family. You can give them love. You can meet needs. And it doesn't matter what you ask for on the back end. So long as you're in their corner first, they will do whatever you ask. And that is how you reach people. So we want to always give 2 to 4 times the value. So question 4, how can you give more value? Yes, sir. Please.
So my approach depends on who my audience is. So the 3 motivators I go by is there's external, there's internal, and there's eternal. And so for the little kids, they're motivated by external gifts. They can get a bike, they'll come to Easter egg hunt or get the prize, the golden egg. But for me, as an adult, that doesn't motivate me, right? So then there's internal, self-development. How do I get ahead? Success, promotion. And so self-development. But to me, there are people who have already made it in life. And they're motivated by eternal. And so even if I offered them, hey, come to church, get this, that's not, even giving, for them giving is more of an eternal motivator. Because there's nothing on this earth that really they want anymore except they want their eternal rewards. And so that's how I kind of judge my audience.
Yeah, I think that's really fantastic, and I think you also see that a lot in Scripture too, because even in psychology, there are basic needs and there are more sophisticated needs. And if I'm hungry, I don't really care what you have to say about anything because I'm thinking about the sandwiches in the back of the room. And so, yeah, when people don't have material needs met, what do they focus on? Material needs. When they then have the material needs, what do they focus on? The emotional needs, the healing that needs to happen. That's a need we can meet. And only after all of those things, oftentimes, those things are met, are they interested in the spiritual need. And that's exactly what we were talking about at the beginning when Jesus meets the physical needs first and then transitions to the spiritual need. He's built the trust. He's taken care of the most important things that are distracting them, and then he brings their attention to a bigger, deeper need that they're not as in touch with. So yes, I absolutely agree. Question 4 here. How can you give more value to your audience without increasing your workload? Okay, so what we're saying is, like, let's just say with volunteers, they give a lot. How do I give more to them? I would have to work 24 hours a day, 8 days a week to give that much. They give a ton. And digital marketers, this is something that was a very difficult question for me to answer. I've got to be on Google. I've got to be on YouTube. I'm on course websites. I'm here. How do I possibly create enough content to meet people's needs in all of these places? And the answer is you recycle it. You recycle it. You have tons and tons of good information. You already meet needs very well. Take the stuff you're already doing and just reformat the same thing. This information is based on 3 courses that I already have sitting online. And I just repurposed it. I just put it in a slideshow. I know it meets your need effectively, and so I'm going to give it to you in a different format. It saves a large amount of time. I'm not going to create something new every time I have a different, specific person I'm trying to meet their needs. So one way we can do that. Now, this is where we're going to start put some bones. We've kind of been talking about theory and what each step in the marketing funnel is. So connect is the handshake, convert is the, hey, let's go on our first date, let's go to coffee, whatever it is, and then the convert there is the marry me. So right here, and I actually want you guys to respond because I want to fill this out. Where do we connect in today's world? This can be online or offline. Give me one moment. Maybe think about it here. I'm just going to move this. Okay, so in today's world, either digital or physical, where do we connect with people? These are people who are not in the church. They're not here. We have to go to them, just like Jesus went to them. His target audience was Jews trying to follow the law. They're in the temple. So he's going to them. Where do we connect with our audience? I'm going to write your answers up here. In the back. Exercise class. I love it. Okay. Great. Where else? Website. Yes. I would. Okay. So great question. Website is actually going to be convert. Okay. So in the same way that our church, we're not initially connecting with people at our church. We're connecting outside of the church somewhere. Jesus went to them. In the same way, we don't initially connect with people on the website. We connect with them where they find the path to the website, which might be an advertisement. It might be a Facebook group, something like that. So the website's the convert, but absolutely important. Yes? Men's breakfast. Let me ask you a question. Is that a ministry? Where do you gather? Okay. Okay, so let me ask you a question. So men's breakfast that gathers here, how do you get people to the men's breakfast? You call them. Okay, so what I would say is your phone calls are the connection, right? They're especially the connection if you don't know the person. There's no relationship. Hey, I'd love to have you for men's breakfast, right? Okay, and then the ministry, men's breakfast, might be here, because it is actually here at First Assembly. And one of the ways you can tell if it's connect or not connect is where it takes place. If it is at the place of business or on the website, it is not connect, it is below connect. If it is out, right? Jesus went out, Paul went on missions away from wherever he started. He's connecting with new people. Then he says, now come into the church. So connection is outside the doors of the church. Yes? Okay. Uh-huh. And it's a Facebook outreach. So people are intended to find this on Facebook and engage. Yes, absolutely, that's connect. Okay, Facebook. Anything on Facebook is connect. Okay, where else? Yes, in the back. Class reunions. Okay, great. All right, how about anybody else? What do we got? What about the tech team? Where do you guys connect? Instagram, right. Okay, Instagram. And we can generally say social media. Okay? Okay, so places where people hang out, right? For sports or for hobbies? Yes? Beach. Okay, sure, beach, right? Who's your target audience at the beach? Sorry? Beach people, right. Yeah. That's exactly right. The waves.
He does the women's exercise.
Yeah. Now what you're going to find? What you find is that in these different places, exercise class, different target audience than beach. If we know who our target audience is, and Pastor Scott over there has the surfing ministry, where does he meet new people? At the beach. He doesn't go to exercise class. He doesn't go to Facebook. He just goes to the beach. So effective marketing is done by going to where your audience is. Jesus went to the temple. Paul went to wherever Paul went to talk to the Gentiles. We go to wherever our audience is. That's why it's so important to know this. Now, social media, this can be YouTube. I'm going to fill this in. This can be forums like Reddit. Deeply a double-edged sword for those of you who understand Reddit. Fantastic. Radio. We could say mass media. Okay. How about missions? Missions, outreach, right? Okay, right? Evangelism, okay? Missions, evangelism. Yeah. Yes. Okay, I'm shortening that. Food distribution. Yes. All of those are ways you connect with people who have never heard about you before. Absolutely. Okay, so here's connect. We're going out to them. Now, let me ask you a trick question. This isn't a trick question, it's on the board. What is the only goal of the connect phase? All of those things, what is the number one goal that we want to accomplish with that? Convert, bring them to convert. Food distribution, we go out. We meet deeply felt needs. People do not have money to buy their own food because of what's going on. You meet their need if you don't call them to action and say, hey, we really care about you. We want you to come and hang out with us at church. I would love to get to know you better. If we're not doing that, I mean, outside of just saying Jesus loves you, we're promoting Jesus, we've missed the ball because it doesn't support desired action, which is at the bottom of this, whatever that is. Okay, so if we are not sending people down, we're doing it wrong. Okay, so here's what I have. Live church. Ooh, that's one that I didn't put in there. Social media, YouTube videos, ads, advertising. I work with you guys. We do advertising for Red Hill. And last I checked, you're getting about an additional 100 people a month seeing your live sermons because people click at the exact time when your church is live and they click on your ad and then they go to your live church. And that starts the relationship, okay? That's advertising, that's connect. Mission field is physical, Sunday services, outreaches, Bible studies, okay? Moving on. Converting. What is the first risk-free commitment that you're asking for people in your ministries? Come and visit, okay? Come and listen, okay? So how about just come? We want them to show up, okay? So we'll say show up. Now specifically, remember, these are measurable actions. I can measure if they show up, but I can't contact them and say, it was really great to have you. So and as an example, on my website, I say, get your free whatever, just give me whatever I'm asking for. Contact information is usually a big one. What else? Food? What about food? Okay, so that might be the need. We're meeting the need, which is come and join us for food. You like food. I like food. Let's hang out with food. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so maybe I'll clarify a little more. The convert is the initial exchange. I give you something and you give me something. So you're saying we give them food. I'm asking, what do they give us? What do we ask for so that we can follow up with them and build the relationship further? On my website, I ask for emails. They go onto an email list. I send them a whole bunch of really good content. And then participate. Okay, participate. Huh? Yeah. Absolutely. And so here's this. The reason why Convert, I'm seeing a couple confused faces. The reason why Convert is so important, I pay for advertising. I pay hundreds of dollars a month to advertise my website. Someone clicks on my ad floating on their Google. They look up best church marketing service near me. And my ad shows up on Google, and they click on it. It takes me to their website. Excuse me. It takes the viewer to my website. I pay $2 to $5 every time someone clicks on my ad. You guys do this with the church as well. To get people to your live sermons, Christian Academy is getting set up. We pay to get people to us. If we're not paying for ads, the church is paying you for your time to get people in the front door. How do we connect and get them here? Your time has some value as well. As soon as they see my page, they're going to read some stuff. If I don't ask for more information, they will leave. And I just paid hundreds of dollars a month, and I have nobody to call and try to sell something to. You guys spend, I would assume, quite a bit of money trying to get people in the front door. They show up. If you don't ask for something, they leave and you can't call them. So I'm not going to ask for a sale the moment they reach my website. I'm going to ask for information so I can call them, so I can text them, so I can email them, and that's the convert, okay? So what are we asking for them to convert? We're asking for emails. We're asking for phone numbers. We're asking for, let me think. Those are big ones. Maybe we text them, but we need that information. And so the convert is the exchange of information. We're offering something to them, and they're giving us something. So like we discussed at the very beginning, when someone comes in here for the first-time visitors, it is crucially important that they come in and they give you name, email, phone number. If you get nothing else, those are the most important, because what happens is they come in for the first time and they leave and you never hear from them again. In digital marketing, the guys in the back will probably know, this is called a bounce rate. They hit your landing page, they hit your website, and they bounce off and you never hear from them again. I just lost $5. I will never hear from that person again. So what do? I get their contact information so I can follow up with them and I can keep meeting their needs. Build that relationship. Not everybody is going to buy a product or a service the very first time. Not everybody is going to commit to Encounter the first time. So what do? You got to call them. You got to say, hey, I noticed you were at church on Sunday. Let's not go to coffee. Let's go surfing. And they go, yeah, let's go surfing. And you build that relationship until you can invite them. Let's say Encounter is the big desired action. And so we're beginning, ooh, that's rough. We're beginning that relationship by getting the initial contact information. That's the convert. So the convert happens on the website. We're usually giving them something, the can of Coke, all right? You want a can of Coke? How about you give me something? Okay, so we're giving them something. Maybe it's food. Maybe it's a really powerful message. Maybe it's the promise of relationship. And then we say, just give me your email and your phone number because we want to follow up. We want to keep meeting this need. We want to get to know you better. Okay, then, are there questions on this part? Seems like we're maybe a little on the convert. Is this tracking? Yes, sir. So convert, great question. Convert, the word itself is to take a website viewer, we're going to do some numbers in a minute, is to take a website viewer, they have just seen my advertising, they clicked on my advertisement, and they've connected with me. And that connection brought them to my website. The conversion is they have gone from a viewer to a participator. That's the difference. They're participating because they have made a small commitment to me. I commit to you enough to give you my phone number. I commit to you enough to get my email. I'll participate a little bit and see what happens. They're putting their toe in the water. They're committing just a little bit. And I told you on my website, we have a schedule, a free 1-hour marketing assessment. Let's talk about your marketing needs. I would say 20% of people do that. The other 80% of people who click on my ads and come to my website, they fill out the form that gets them the free ultimate marketing guide. They just want to read it. They don't want to commit to me. It's a smaller commitment. But either way, I'm getting them to commit. And so the conversion is the change from a viewer to a participator. Does that help to answer your question? A little, maybe more fully? Okay. Any further questions with convert? They got it right. Yeah, you're buying from them because why? Yeah. So this is great. This is a really good example. If we lose people that we already have, it is nobody's fault it's nobody's fault except our own, with very, very few exceptions. For instance, I lost a number of clients with the coronavirus. Why? Totally outside of my control. The service was great. I had clients that were with me for multiple years, and the financial status, unfortunately, that there's an impact. So occasionally, but the vast majority of the time, if people do not stay with us after they've been sold by us and they're with us for a long time, it's because we're not meeting their needs. So when you leave one phone company for another, it's because you're disappointed and they've lost your trust. They have not met the need effectively. Then you go into the other one, and the environment is trustworthy, the products meet your needs, the associates are helpful, and you always walk out with something, right? And that's who you stay with because they continue to meet the need, absolutely. So great question. So with Convert, initial information on the website, name and email. Come in, you get free access to all of the events, family-friendly events. I love not the Halloween, but the trunk or treat or whatever it is that we do. Free access, but you have to give your email. Fantastic. And we're going to see why that's important here in a minute. Email, phone number, put them on a text list, sign in for church plus email. On the church online platform, there is an area where they can sign up and make an account. It's crucially important that we have them making accounts because we do not want them to bounce. We never want people to bounce. They come in, the bounce rate on a web page, people find my website, they go onto my website down here, so they find me. Oh. No, that's not working. Okay, they find my website, they look at it, and they leave, never to return. They look at one page, and then they exit it, and then they go back to Facebook. We don't want that. We don't want people coming into the church and leaving with no contact information, because you will never hear from them again. I don't want people coming to my website and leaving without me having their information. I will never hear from them again. We do not want them coming to events without getting information. You will never hear from them again. And if they come to an event, what did we say? Events is up here. We want to get them here. If they come to an event and we don't convert and get their information, the event was for nothing, essentially, unless they're accepting Jesus right there. So, convert. Text sign up. We want people making accounts on Church Online because guess what? If 10 people one week make a Church Online platform account and they can sign in, even if they have no administrative privileges, tech team, the next week, I'm going to invite as many people as I did the first week, plus I've got an email list of 10 people, and I can invite 10 people who are already identifying themselves as my audience. And what happens is, I have pastors, churches that have email lists of tens of thousands of people in over 150 countries. And they send one email, and they can get huge amounts of people to do things, because the first thing they always do is ask them to convert, give us information. Thank you very much. Great. Wonderful. So surveys, we're going to talk about, I'm going to table it. How powerful are surveys, polls, questionnaires, personal feedback? Hugely important. We're going to talk about it, okay? So convert. Get people to take the initial action, get basic information. Lastly, the close. Why are we getting basic information? If we're asking for a large close, spend 2 days with people you don't know at Encounter. That's a big ask. How high does that relationship have to be to get them to say yes to that? It's got to be pretty big. And how do we do that? Okay, so how do we do that? We use relationship building strategies to get them to the place where I ask them to take the really big action. And usually, at least in the digital world, this is an email list. You put them on an email list and you give them 2 to 4 times the value you ask them for. You guys tracking with me on that? When they go onto my email list and I say, sign up for your ultimate guide that's going to meet all your needs, they sign up. I put them on an email list, so I'm going to put this right down here, email list. And then I'm not that guy who asks them for stuff. Oh, you signed up for my email list? Come buy my product. You signed up for my email list? I've got this really great offer. Come and check. That's not what you do, because then we're that guy who's only asking for things. They go to the email list, and we build the relationship. Hey, we saw you were at church. I just wanted to call and see how you're doing. That would be a phone list. But I noticed we were talking about faith. Here's an extra video on faith. Just, I thought that you would love this. Here's our most recent sermon. We saw that you were in church last week. We would really love to see you in church again. Okay? So we're building that relationship. We're doing things that meet deeply felt needs 2 to 4 times more. And then when the relationship, and only when the relationship can support, come and have a 48-hour camp out with me at church with people you've never met, we are only calling them to the desired action when the relationship can support it. Yes? And again, this is exactly what we discussed at the beginning. In order to get people to take a desired action, it is the relationship that will get them there and nothing else. If they know you care about them deeply, they will do whatever you ask them to. It doesn't matter what it is. You can have them here laying bricks out on the patio. You can have them going to Encounter. I don't know, we could have yoga class. It doesn't make a difference. If I go to leaders' meetings, even if it's burdensome with my time working with churches and nonprofits, and Pastor Andrew says, hey, we got a leaders' meeting, and even if it feels burdensome, if they are my family and they care about me more than anyone, I'll move heaven and earth to get there. It doesn't matter. Okay, and that's the same with everyone. So we only invite to the encounter, or whatever that desired action is that's going to be on your funnel, we only invite them there when the relationship supports it. And again, it doesn't matter what we invite them to. They'll do it. Yes? Okay, so putting on my pastor's hat, I'm not a marketer, I'm a pastor. How do we build relationships? And what I would tell you is this. Firstly, there's sort of a corporate, how do you build a relationship with an email list? A little bit more difficult. First and foremost, you talk to one person, okay? When I make courses and I put them on online course sites, I've got some Bible studies out there, I've got some digital marketing courses out there, and I talk to the camera, I talk to you. I talk to the person who is driven to learn about a particular topic. I can usually infer quite a bit about the one person. It's not everybody watching. I'm talking to Jan or Tom, who wants to know more about marketing so that their church can reach more people. So I know who I'm talking to, and I talk to one person. So on a corporate level, how do we build a relationship? And email lists and texts and through the pulpit, you talk to one person. And you build a relationship with that person, and then that audience profile should hopefully represent a large majority of who you're talking to if you do it right. So that's one. How do you build a relationship with individuals? Well, I think that we all know how to do that. That's not even marketing, How do I build a relationship with Pastor Andrew? We hang out, we spend time together, we go to coffee. I'm not a surfer, And so we go to coffee, and you know what? Pastor Andrew's never got a coffee. I drink coffee and we talk. Yeah. And so, how do we build relationships individually? You care about them, you meet needs. Relationship building events, I suppose we could do something like that. I went to a marriage seminar at Pastor Betzer's church in First Assembly. Really good for making the relationship between my wife and I better. And because they met that need, I felt more connected to the church, right? So they met a need for me having deeper relationship, and it made me feel more trusting and closer in relationship to the church. Kind of answer your question? Great. Yes. So the question is, how do you make personalized emails? Yeah. Okay. Great question. Yeah, there's a number of email platforms, Pastor Frank. They're called CRMs, Customer Relationship Management Platforms. So when you have an email list, that list of names and emails is usually held in a program called Customer Relationship Management Platform. So it manages the relationship with your customers, okay? That's what that big word means. It helps you to manage the relationship with your customers. You may already have one. MailChimp is a big one. And MailChimp allows you to put in a little, first name, little badge thing. And so instead of saying, First Assembly, join us for Sunday service, in the title, it'll say, Jan, join us for Sunday service. And so they allow you some more customizable things like that. So either way, good, okay.